Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Ravi. I'm the co-founder CEO of Zeeve, and today we welcome you on Web3 Voice. Today we have with us Manit Parikh, who is the founder and CEO of the Binary Holdings. Manit, welcome to the talk show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ravi. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so Manit, I think first, let's start with a brief introduction. Tell us about yourself, and then a bit about Binary Holdings, and then we'll go deeper into what you are doing at Binary Holdings.
Sure. So, quick background about myself. I'm a banker who became a consultant, from a consultant who went on to be a part of the crypto space since 2018. And in 2020, I started the Binary Holdings. And during my course, of course, I had a few startups, exited out of them, and then eventually, and again, that in the passive role. And now with TBH or the Binary Holdings in a more active role on a day-to-day basis. So that's the quick background about myself. And from an educational perspective, I'm an economist, a lawyer, and economist and a lawyer, just to put it in perspective. So I enjoy what I do. I love maths. I don't think any Indian would not love maths.
Um, yeah, so Binary Holding, you said that you started in 2020, right? So can you tell us, about more about Binary Holdings, like how it started and what were the initial focus area and how
So
you have evolved in last 4 years.
I'll tell you, the binary holdings came about the idea of, I wouldn't say the binary holdings because we initially started off with a single product called the Fando. And the idea of Fando was engage to earn, where fans around the world who love sports can engage with their favorite sports creators or content creators. And while engaging with them, they can earn. And the thesis behind that was when I was studying in the US, which is such a big US, it's such a big sports market. When you actually start watching sports, you contribute to billions of dollars that industry is raking in because of people like you and I who watch it. So I used to always think, if I am contributing so much, why am I not getting a piece of it, right? And that's how the idea
Right.
of Fando kind of came into play. So that's what we started with first, as a single application where Fando was an engage to earn platform where there would be TikTok style formatted videos, which the sports fan clubs, the fan clubs of the sports clubs would come in and upload, and the fans or the followers would kind of watch them and earn the tokens in return, which they can then go to the marketplace and redeem for multiple products across 10 different categories. But as we kind of evolved and then we've got the telco partnerships in play, our offerings kind of became bigger. And that's when we realized that we cannot be a one horse pony by being just Pando as a singular product. So that's when we decided to launch the Binary Holdings, which became the holding company. And underneath that, we had multiple BUs: digital social, digital enterprise, digital financial services, and infrastructure, to put it that way. And that's how kind of the beginning of binary holdings happened. And as we evolved, the binary holdings kind of got us a sense of becoming a Web 2.5, a bridge between Web 2 and Web 3, enabling becoming an enabler for super apps and becoming an infrastructure platform for telecommunication companies and banks in emerging economies, with our user base of 40 million users, which integrated messaging, social media, digital payments, and various other services and products, providing a very comprehensive platform for the user. It's like becoming the middleware or the backend for telcos and banks by offering API and integration capabilities. So that's how we kind of redefined ourselves over a period of time.
No, I think that's great because based on our experience, banking and financial services as well as telecom, they I would say are early adopters in the
Yes.
blockchain space, and both are pretty huge verticals
Yes.
and very tech savvy. So that's I think great.
And
So
also
in
legacy
like
oriented.
specific,
And also
yeah, yeah,
extremely
absolutely.
heavy legacy oriented, right? So to convince them otherwise, you can imagine how much we had to go through.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. But my assumption is that it goes both ways, right? So one is going to a Web2 legacy customer and then convincing them, motivating them to adopt something which is new. Which of course there's a massive cycle of evangelism and sharing a lot of learnings and POCs and so on and so forth. But the other is like you build something amazing and then you go to them and say that how this fits into their scheme. It makes easier, the whole concept of Fando, I think is pretty amazing.
Thank you. In fact, Ravi, I would like to add one thing. You mentioned.
So my question was that
Ravi, I wanted to add one thing. You mentioned about building something and then going to these guys, right? So one of the things that we learned was a lot of the companies build a platform and then go and look for utilities. We kind of build the utilities first, got the users to adopt to the utilities, got them to use the utility, and then we are going the infrastructure route, right? So now when people come on our platform and build on our infrastructure or our blockchain, they will not have to worry about the users or the utility component anymore because that has already been built for them. I think that somewhere created or gave us an edge and also helped us build the entry barrier that we wanted to create for others in the same market to approach in the same fashion.
Right. No, I think that's an excellent approach. And so I was like, pretty much on the same line, like in the case of our trade finance, we saw that earlier some consortiums were formed, some banks were trying to set up some trade finance consortium, etc. It was a difficult road. None of them actually got into production. There were a few POCs and that's it. But then there were some startups who initiated this, built a trade finance consortium, highly decentralized, and then build the necessary tools and utilities, and then started onboarding them. So onboarding makes it much easier. Like as you rightly said, you are reducing the entry barrier. By building a platform, building a network, and then building a set of tools so that it becomes easy for them to see how Web3 works, how they can actually achieve value proposition from the Web3 space.
Absolutely.
Yep. So now specifically to telecom and banking, as you mentioned. So what are the different use cases that if somebody wants to come from Web2 to binary holdings, what kind of use cases right now you're enabling, and what it looks like in future? Like what all you will be enabling in future?
So right now, very simply, if I put it, distribution, which is distribution not only in terms of the number of users, but also in different markets. So automatically, somebody who becomes a part of our infrastructure gets access to all the countries that we have partnerships with, the telecom companies and the banks. So currently, we are sitting at 3 or 4 countries. So automatically, you will get access to all those 3, 4 countries. So as a startup or any DApp that comes into our ecosystem, they don't have to spend that kind of money to enter those markets or to reach out to those distribution networks. So that's number one. Number two, of course, user base. So you can really cut down on your cost of acquisition of users big time. Number three, marketing support. So in every market that we enter, we get marketing support from the telcos and the banks, which indirectly is for the infrastructure for the platform. And all the partners that plug into the infrastructure automatically benefit from that marketing budget as well that we give across. That's three. And number four, I would say when you build on the system and you get access to the telcos and the banks, they inherently become your lead business development executive entities. Because each telco and banks have a passive community of enterprise clients as well. So automatically what they do is they take your product, they sub-license it to that enterprise client, and then create further revenue. So now what you are focusing on as an entrepreneur is on your product, making it scalable, making it more user friendly, more beautiful looking. So people come in, people come in and use it more, and you are spending your time on communication. How do you communicate using the telco's marketing network? How do you use that to your advantage and create that communication, which is going to get the more and more users to use it? So I think these are the 4 elements that we outright support. Now, as we move forward, there are other streams of elements that we're also adding to it, right? So you can think about, we were just having a conversation today, my colleague and I, and we are listing out the benefits of somebody coming onto our system and building, right? So when they come on the blockchain, they have ready access to 40 to 50 or maybe now 70 million users, because we've just gone live with two other telcos. 70 million users, number one. Low gas fees, probably the lowest in the market. Number three, by the virtue of that, unit economics comes into play as well. So if your runway today is sitting at 7 months, for example, and if you cut down your cost of acquisition, your marketing cost to, let's say, 1/10, automatically your runway from 7 months has now gone to a year, 10 days, right? So that gives you other
Right.
benefit. Apart from that, being a part of our infrastructure, we also have a group of investors and LPs that have invested in our business, plus who are in our network, who are then always looking at investing in other projects as well. So it creates an opportunity for fundraising as well for these communities. Why? Because the investors and LPs are very happy because they're a part of the infrastructure, and they've understood that the holy grail or the holy grave, I would say, for any startup is customer acquisition and marketing. If you're going to
Right.
burn 90% of your cost there, then what are you going to do with 10%? And if that is being taken care of considerably, then the potential of scaling is a lot bigger, and that is where they can come in. So I think these are a few other aspects that we also bring to the table for anybody who joins our infrastructure or our ecosystem.
No, I think thanks for the details. I think this looks pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Um, so so now I think and now I can see all the pieces falling in place. So because what you are creating is a much robust platform or infrastructure where and serving different verticals across different geographies, enabling multiple use cases. So of course, it becomes very clear that you require a solid network to support that. And you took a decision to build your own layer 2 using OP Stack. So just know what were your motivations of using OP Stack or layer 2 per se, and being part of the EVM ecosystem.
Yeah, so using the OP tech stack for us meant that we pretty much rely on giants like OP, ETH for security infrastructure. We rest, and that allows us to kind of rest very easy and peaceful, knowing that our network will be safe from a security perspective and will be in a position to handle 40 million users, 70 million plus users, 100 million plus users, 200 million plus users in coming times without any hiccups. And also further the scalability that comes with it, right? And also OP is known to be one of those stacks which promotes utility in a truest form. So I think these were the
Right.
areas what kind of got us prompted to select OP as the stack that we wanted to build on, because they also have a very powerful stack, which is ETH underneath them, Ethereum underneath them. So that kind of motivated us there as well. I think that was the primary reason why we went that route. And your question about why our own layer 2, now, multiple. If I talk like a businessman, it makes a lot more sense for us to have our own layer 2, because all the on-chain data that we are going to build, which is, 70 million users, that's 70 million wallets. No other chain in the world has 70 million wallets. Let's just put that. So that's the number one. So that makes our chain extremely valuable. Number one. Number two, all the on-chain data. Currently, we do 1 or 2 million daily unique transactions, which is transfers, payments, cashbacks, and all of that on a regular basis on a 24 hours. So that's 2 to 3 million on-chain data per 24 hours. And now, as we increase the number of user base, we increase more utilities, more on-chain data will come in. That further creates a congestion of a sort on the network that leads to increase in gas utility, which automatically increases the value of our token as well. So these are two thought processes from a businessman perspective. But as a consumer of the token, or sorry, as a consumer of the chain, what it does is it enables dApps to come in and eventually start building without the thought of acquiring users, without worrying about security, knowing that the gas fee is the lowest in the market, and understanding that there is scale involved in it as well. So I think these were the four factors on both ways, I think, what got us starting with our own layer 2.
Right. No, I think that's an excellent choice. So just to add to that in terms of the tech side, so layer 2, were created to solve the scalability challenges with Ethereum. So we talk about the scalability trilemma, where you have security, decentralization, and scalability. Now, the way the architecture works, or the way internet works, these three cannot be tackled at the same time. And
Right.
that's why, layer two takes care of the scalability side of Ethereum. And then, still you get, security warranties from Ethereum. And second, earlier creating your own network, which is very suitable and apt for a platform like yours, was very difficult, because if you launch a layer one using a POS network, etc., there's a additional challenge of bringing in validators. So there are a lot of distractions that happen. Uh, in layer two, since you're leasing security and decentralization directly from Ethereum, it makes it much easier. And then
Absolutely.
I think OP Stack is one of the most mature stack today to launch your own layer two. And Optimism itself, has grown massively in the last two
Correct.
and a half, more than 2 years, in terms of TVL, in terms of adoption, in terms of transactions, or partner ecosystem. Like, more and more rollups are being built on OP. And one of the interesting thing what Optimism has launched is the whole super chain
Yes.
concept, which again I think will be of some value, because or I would say more than some, immense value, because it enables cross-chain liquidity across different
Yes.
rollups built in using our part of the super chain. That's itself, again, will reduce the fragmentation which is there, and create native bridges, very secure way of interacting with other rollups and other chains. Yes, I think
100% agree.
this is
100% agree.
I think I would say, right. So and like we partner together. We are one of the leading rollup as a service for OP Stack, as well as a few other stacks. So, um, like, how you see Zeeve has been instrumental in your journey towards adoption of a layer two using OP Stack.
So I'll tell you one thing. The way I look at this partnership is two ways. Again, one perspective of a businessman and another perspective of a non-businessman. The first perspective of the businessman is I don't have to go and build an army of people who can go and deploy this for me. And then after this project is completed, I don't have to either reshuffle them or kind of let them go, because I don't like
Right.
letting people go from their jobs unless and until they're not doing what they're asked to do. That's one thing. So that's from a unit economics perspective. So it became, from a cost benefit analysis, it was smarter to give it to Zeeve. Number two, um, from an understanding of the technology stack and how to build on OP stack, because you guys have done it in the past, it it's kind of giving it to somebody who knows how the system works. And rather than getting people who are going to be doing A/B testing, and suddenly something that can be done in a month's time will take 3 to 6 months or 8 months or 9 months, right? That was the one. That was the other
Right.
aspect. And from a personal reason perspective, is because I always look at quick deployments. Right? When you're looking at quick deployments, it's always good to have always partner with somebody who's gone to the grind multiple times and who understands the strengths and the weaknesses of what needs to be done, and have done it so many times that they've mastered the weaknesses as well and added that to the chunk of the armory of their strengths, which allows you to deploy a lot faster. Number one. And number two, along with the deployment, there comes nodes, the creation of it, the migration of the token standards. Everything is there, right? So it all becomes a very seamless journey for us. And rather than doing it in five different partners, doing it something like that, and then somebody coming in and stitching it all together, it was best to give somebody who's gone through that grind in the past and who's probably the first time when you would have done it, you would have taken 9 months. The second time, probably when you did it, you took it 6 months. Third time when you did it, probably 3 months. Now, when you do it, probably 1.5 months. Why? Because you now know the challenges, what needs to be addressed, and you've got the right people at the helm of things who know exactly how to take this forward. And the turnaround time is much faster. And of course, the post deployment services, maintenance that come along with it are a great add-on as well. I think that's one of the reasons where our partnership with you, with
Right.
your technical capabilities, kind of addressed that issue or that reason why we should go with you.
No, no, absolutely. I think we definitely bring in some of the advantages that you mentioned, especially when there's a build versus buy decision.
Correct.
But at the same time, there are a few other areas we are continuing to evolve. What you saw in Q1 pretty much was our phase one of developer as a service, where we bring in a lot of automation, a lot of expertise, monitoring tools, data indexing, block explorer, and we invested into quite a few areas. Now you will realize the benefits of the phase two of our developer as a service, where we are bringing native integrations with 40 plus partners. So you just name the partner, and we can bring in that native integration and enable that for binary holding. So that way, you don't need to worry about how different integration, because each integration otherwise normally manually takes a lot of, again, the same grind.
Absolutely,
There's a
absolutely.
learning curve, there's implementation challenges, and one thing which is in technology, that as you have more integrations, as you have more pieces, the complexity, it's not additive, it's multiplicative, and that leads to a lot of challenges in terms of errors, bugs, or downtimes, etc. So yeah, so I think, and our endeavor is to continue to improve this service so that it becomes so seamless, because our major vision is to abstract the infra. And I think
Correct.
you understand it very well, because that is what you are doing in telecom and banking, right?
Correct.
Abstracting the infra so that somebody wants to move from Web 2 to Web 3, you make life
Super
easier.
simple.
It's like a simple usage of APIs and interfaces, and they can, the same, we are also follow the same vision, how to abstract the infra. So somebody wants to launch their own chain, L2, L3, or even L1, how to make it super simple, seamless, and easy. No, I think that's great to know. And thanks for your feedback.
No, I appreciate.
So one question about token. Yeah. So one question about your token. I was reading a blog on your website about the binary advantage, how to leverage gas tokens for play to earn as well as learn to earn. So just with, you have given some points, at different points in the talk show, but I just to, if you can summarize for listeners and viewers, is what are the distinct advantages of binary as a gas token?
So binary as a gas token, number one is very simple. I mean, any transaction that you do on the chain, you can use that for the gas token purposes. But apart from that, also, you as a user, when you engage with the platform, you can earn while engaging with different content related materials, whether it's education, whether it's sports, whether it's movies, whether it's music, and so on. You can also engage loyalty points by doing transactions in form of tokens. Then you can also play games and earn as well. You can also participate in tournaments using tokens. So these are all the aspects where you can earn, whether it's learn to earn, whether it's engage to earn, and so on. And there's so many aspects around it. Then comes the part where you can redeem the tokens, or you can use these tokens as a form of payment, where all the tokens that you earned, we have a marketplace where you can go in and use these tokens to buy computers, electronics, merchandise, home living stuff across 10 to 12 different categories. You can buy vouchers for different products. You can use these tokens as a form of payment to participate in esports tournament. You can buy in-game goodies and stuff that upgrades your avatar. So you can do all of that. And the third component is digital payment. So in September, we'll be launching cross-border, where you can use the tokens as a medium to do off-ramp transactions as well. You can also do a traditional bank transfer. So to give you an example, if you're sitting in Thailand and you go to Vietnam, typically you would need to either use your credit card, debit card, or you would need local currency that you need to convert. So what we are working with different telcos and their wallets is that they will start accepting the Thailand's e-wallets QR scanner, which is linked to the bank account of that particular consumer. So when I travel to Vietnam, I just have to scan. You open up my e-wallet through the telcos app. I scan my QR code. I scan the QR code using my scanner, and automatically the money is paid because the money gets deducted from my bank account. And whatever forex is involved, it automatically gets charged and transferred. And in return, what happens is there's a very small percentage that you get charged, which is anywhere from 0.5 to 1.5%, which is cheaper than Western Union of the world and anywhere else. And they all go through a sweep-in account as well in a very micro transaction. So whatever earnings you make out of sweep-in accounts are given back to you in tokens against you paying the service fees for transferring this money. So it becomes that as well. Apart from that, the token is also being used as an authentication token. So when you are communicating, when a transaction is being completed, there's an authentication being sent from place A to place B. So it acts like an authentication token as well. And then of course API calls and multiple stuff. So the token can be used in multifaceted way, in both in terms of payments, but also in terms of authentication, redemptions, loyalty, API calls, everything that you can think of. That's the beauty of the token.
Got it. No, I think this is super interesting. It's pretty interesting, the whole concept of e-wallet. So, now just, we are coming to the end of the show. So what are your plans for the mainnet launch and some of the other roadmap items? One, you have already mentioned some exciting cross-border payments coming in September. What are your plans now for the next 6 months this year?
So add 5 more telcos, 6 more telcos to the network. So our goal is to get to 200 million users by the end of the year. That's a given. There is no, we're already at 150% mark. And we probably by the end of the month will be at 6 months, right? So half a year we've delivered 50%. So there is no reason why we can't deliver another 50% by the end of the year. So that's one target. Number two is the mainnet launch. The activities around it and everything, that I don't have a lot of say right now because it's still being planned. Because I believe we are still another month and a half away from public mainnet launch, or maybe even 2 months. So I think their team working with your team and our KOLs and different partners, I think we'll be creating a strategy around the communication and the narratives around the mainnet launch. But definitely there is going to be a lot of fanfare around the mainnet launch, because when the mainnet launches, it's probably going to have not only our platforms or our dApps that we've built, but also a couple other dApps that are going to be on there before it becoming publicly available. We're also running a lot of hackathons. So a lot of these hackathons will also lead to a lot of developers building on our chain as well. Apart from that, we're also going to get listed on a lot of these credible blockchain L2 websites where the rankings and the total value locked and everything is mentioned. So that's also going to be posted out there. So it showcases that we're among the top tier L2s in the space that what we are doing. So that's there. But primarily from a business perspective, 200 million users, get close to 30 to 40 dApps building on our system by the end of the year, or on our chain by the end of the year. Get to a stage where we are doing at least 10 to 15 million on-chain data per 24 hours, and get to 100 to 200 million wallets by the end of the year on-chain. So I think that's what the criteria or the focus this year is going to be all about.
No, I think that's a super huge target, but I'm sure you're already on your way to achieve it.
Yeah, baby
So,
steps.
congratulations, Manit. I think for the progress so far, and we wish that Binary achieves all your targets by the end of this year, and we are very excited again to be partner with you guys and be part of your journey and take this forward.
No, thank you so much. Honor is all ours.
Anything you would like to add here
No,
before we call
I
off?
think guys, whoever is listening,
Anything that comes to your mind?
yeah, everyone who's listening, we are one of those chains that is always going to be progressive in nature. And since we are creating an infrastructure which is a super app enabler, or a super dApp enabler, whatever you want to call it, for the telcos and the banks and different industries, there's always an opportunity to come onto our chain, build on it. We'll also get to a stage where we'll be giving retrospective grants at a later stage as well. So, and as you become a part of it, apart from the retrospective grants, we'll also end up giving potential working capital needs to all the dApps that are in our systems who want to scale further as well. So I think it's an open slate. Come in, build, you will enjoy it, and you see it for yourself, all that stuff that we get. But I believe bringing 40 to 70 million users on day one, post the chain going live on the main net for the public use, I don't think any other chain has ever done that. So probably we'll be the first one. So come in, be a part of it, and enjoy the magic. That's pretty much from my end.
Right. Yeah. Excellent. Thanks, Manit. Thanks for joining us. I think it was an excellent conversation.
Thank you so much,
and
Ravi.
we'll continue to be in touch and do some more activities. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Manit.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Ravi. Thank you. Take care.